Look at you on the same place, saying you wanted to be a different person this year, but you're still that average person. That has to change. Are you still going to be that average person, or are you going to be the one that takes risks, the one that brings change, the one that makes a difference, not for other people, only for yourself? But you're sitting there thinking, yeah, but how am I going to make a change? How am I going to make a difference? Where do I even start? And it's the exact mindset that's keeping you behind, because you in the first place don't know what to do, where to start, who to situate yourself with, you know? And their tendency is to stop, to depend on other people. We see other people do things, then we also want to do it, but we never do it for the benefit of ourselves. That's why you have to start taking risks. You identify what you want to achieve, you identify what you want for yourself, and then you have to identify what risk will they take. Does it require me to wake up early? Does it require me to change my schedule a bit to fit in something? Does it require me to put a few extra hours in at work? Does it require me to work overtime? Of course it would. But you first have to identify what that thing is. You can't expect magic to happen, but you don't put in the work. And that's not how it happens. You know, many times we think people get handouts, people get favors, and it is like that, and that's the unfortunate part. But not all of us are that fortunate enough. You see, that's why I'm saying do what is difficult. And whatever I say is context. I'm not saying skip the easy thing to do the difficult thing. What I'm saying is, in order for you to become great, what separates the great from the average is, it's because great people that are excellent in every craft that they do put the extra work in, they put in that extra mile. And average people fail to comprehend that, because they expect everything must come on a platter, everything must come on a plate in a gift. They expect that everything must just come to them, but they don't go get it. And that's why it's going to bring me back to Newton's first law. When a force is exerted on an object, the object will move into the direction of that force, and it simply means that you have to start. It doesn't matter in what it doesn't matter in what destination you are in life. And remember, your start doesn't determine your end. So you have to start at some point. And when you start at some point, believe me, a small difference will produce big results. Like the book of Atomic Habits says, it's not the big things that make changes, but it's the small habits that compound over time, the systems that you produce that will bring a remarkable change at the end of the day. So if you want to stop being that average person, then you have to stop whining. One more thing I'm telling you, bro. The moment you start to make progress, your circle starts to change, your environment starts to change, because certain people that is not on that intellectual level of understanding will see that you changed. But that's not the case. You didn't change, you only grow. There's a difference between changing and growing. You can change but still not grow. But you can grow but still not changed. You get what I'm saying? So that's why it's also very important to see who you situate yourself with. Because when you don't see who you situate yourself with, then your goals or your vision is unlikely to be achievable. Why? It's because the same people in that environment is keeping you behind, because you couldn't identify how they influence you, what they do for you to go forward. And that's why I'm saying it's very important who you situate yourself with too. Family members can also switch up on you only because you're making progress. And that's the things that will happen. And the journey will not make you feel lonely, but it will make you be alone. Stop nagging and start putting in the work. It's officially Kemzo. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. We will be back with another episode. We will be back with another banger. Let's go.